Right, the Jukskei River is one of the largest and said to be one of the most polluted in Gauteng. Both communities in informal settlements and local farm owners who live on the banks of the river say their health has suffered as a result of the polluted water. Now, for more on the story, let's bring in SABC news reporter, specialist reporter Nozintombi Miya to give us a sense of what we're talking about here. Nozi, thank you very much indeed for coming on. How did you become aware of the dire state, from what we understand, that the information you're giving us, of the Jukskei River?
Thank you so much, Blaine. We were alerted to the issue of the Jukskei River, and obviously the Jukskei River is not a new issue. And usually when we get calls around the Jukskei River, it's around the Alex informal settlement, because that's where quite a large part of the river flows through, a wider portion of the river falls through. But we were then alerted earlier this month by one of the landowners, one of the farm owners that lives along one of the catchment areas of the Jukskei River in Midrand. And he said that some of the things that he sees in the river that crosses his property are shocking. He's seeing raw sewage, the biodiversity, wildlife in that particular catchment area of the river that crosses his property has all but died out. And a shocking foam color is seeping through that particular part of the catchment of his property, and he was concerned and he wanted to find out what was going on and what was causing the stench that was coming from that part of the river. And we went and we investigated what happened, and we took some pictures and some visuals, and it's quite shocking. In the morning the smell is not so bad, but by around 5 o'clock in the afternoon it's overpowering. You can barely breathe, and a lot of the families that live along that stretch have had to now move further uphill and away from that part of the catchment. And what's also shocking is that there's a massive private hospital that's situated right there along the banks. And you can just imagine for the patients that are in that hospital, they have no alternative. As much as they're recovering from whatever illness they're suffering from, they have no respite from the overpowering stench. And that's how we found out and we got informed about that particular issue of the Jukskei River. And where I'm standing, Blaine, I'm just going to ask my camera colleague Vanessa to just do a pan and show you what the area behind me looks like. And it is a settlement that used to be surrounded by factories, and there has been a growing informal settlement, and this growing informal settlement is called Miya informal settlement, as well as the Klipfontein View informal settlement. And as the informal settlements have grown, there hasn't been enough infrastructure being put in to ensure that there's enough drainage systems to deal with the sewer issues. And you find that some of the people just sort of put in their waste and their litter into the different caches or the different streams that form part of the Jukskei River. And we do know as well that some of the factories around here are also contributing by expelling their waste dump as well into the catchment, and it's created this powder cake that we've seen now affecting the residents and the farm owners and the landowners in this part of Midrand that leads down the Jukskei River. Blaine.
You know, as you said, Nozintombi, this is not a new issue. What was the trigger? Are you saying that the stench and that smell was the trigger in terms of focusing on this area now?
Yes, you're quite right. It was definitely the stench that we got exposed to. And Blaine, I just want you to take a look at this particular insert that we put together that looked at the different elements that contributed to the issue. Blaine.
This is how the stream looked 4 years ago. Today, a sewer-filled wasteland steeped in grime with an unbearable stench. Residents say the condition of the river has slowly deteriorated.
The situation was not as bad as what it used to be now, what it is now. But over the years, we've been reporting this matter to different authorities in the Johannesburg with no assistance. Everyone that we report to, they point fingers to the next person and the next department and the next department.
The polluted stream crosses his property.
You can see the foam. Now you can see the foam for yourself. And also at times you see raw sewer, flowing down the stream. And in winter months, in the afternoon, around about 5 o'clock or in the evening, you can't breathe. The stench is just unbearable.
As a result of the heavy pollution, the ecosystem has been badly damaged and the wildlife all but decimated.
The Jukskei River is an extremely important river flowing out of Johannesburg. It's got a deep history, going back to the early gold rush era, but it's more recently famous for its deteriorating water quality. As a result of that, it's one of the most polluted and dangerous rivers in the immediate vicinity of the Johannesburg area.
Rubbish dumped from the nearby informal settlements and factories have been blamed.
The sewer leaks into the stream are caused by sewer blockages that emanate from your Miya and Klipfontein View townships in the area. So Johannesburg Water has been unblocking these pipes as and when they get blocked to avoid the sewer feeding into the stream.
As these developments continue to grow, they create these blockages, and even as the city might be looking at unblocking some of these lines, but you find that the manholes that are having the pressure of these kinds of pollution, where maybe too many to be able to deal with on a daily basis. It is important to note that there is insufficient infrastructure to look after the pollution that comes from there, but also you're having obviously the growth that has not been catered for by the aging infrastructure that you would find.
The department responsible says cleanup operations are ongoing and a team has been sent to unblock the sewer lines.
As part of a short-term solution, we have been getting our jetting machines every now and again to clean the entire sewer line to reduce the number of blockages in the area. We also do have working on a long-term solution in terms of upgrading the sewer lines and also coupling it with beefing up education in the community.
Rehabilitation of the polluted river and the catchment streams is still a long-term project. Environmental experts and government have acknowledged that they'll need to work together to clean up the river. But for residents, all they want is some immediate relief.
Simple service delivery. Whoever is supposed to fix the problem, let the problem be fixed.
Now, Blaine, this insert is really important because it does talk to a lot of the issues that came about of this particular stream. And there's two problems here. One problem is that the informal settlement, as it's grown, the municipality hasn't instituted enough infrastructures to be able to deal with the issue of the waste disposal, the sewage disposal, as well as access to this particular catchment part of the Jukskei River and being able to cordon it off. And the second part is that because there's no infrastructure and because the informal settlement is growing, the municipality is struggling to clean up the river system. And you saw with some of the pictures that we saw in that particular insert, there is rubbish that is being dumped into the river. And as the river flows down the embankment, it catches along with the rest of the other sewage that goes down. By the time it gets to the residents or the farm owners, it is heavily polluted and the wildlife inside has died out. So the municipality needs to find a way to deal with the two issues concurrently, providing adequate services and infrastructure for the growing informal settlement, and ensuring that they protect the biodiversity of the Jukskei River and the catchment rivers that flow into the Jukskei River. We are in the height of the third wave. We are dealing with a new variant called the Delta variant of the coronavirus. And if people from the informal settlement who are affected, impacted, or infected with the strain are dumping their waste into this river catchment, it adds to the already polluted river stream. And we have a powder keg situation, Blaine, where we're going to see the Delta variant literally being flown by the river stream along to the various farm owners and the land owners and some of the people who use the river stream to participate in their own cultural or religious ceremonies or practices, using the water to wash off whatever it is that they're doing with regards to their cultural practices. So it is absolutely important, it's critical that the municipality steps in and deals with the twofold issue: ensuring that there's sufficient infrastructure in this growing informal settlement, dealing with the sewage, dealing with the drainage system issue, and being able to cordon off the catchment areas of the Jukskei River and cleaning it up as they go along to make sure that they get rid of whatever viruses and diseases are in this particular river stream. One of the professors that we spoke to, Dr. Anthony Turton, said that he's never seen such high levels of E. coli in a river stream, and he says the Jukskei is one of the most polluted rivers in the whole of Johannesburg, and this is worrying. It should worry us, not just as community members, not just as landowners, but the municipality really needs to get involved in this issue and start dealing with it effectively and quickly. Blaine.
Touched on a very important point there, the compounding effect of COVID-19 in a situation like this. I guess the big question is there hope, Nozintombi, on the horizon in terms of the rehabilitation of this river? What's the benchmarks here?
Well, what we did get a sense from Joburg Water that they are doing jetting every now and again, but it's simply not sufficient. And this talks not just to the environmental detriment that a polluted river stream has on the community, the surrounding communities, but it talks to an issue of governance. We are in an election year, and it behooves the municipality to ensure that they get their ducks in a row. There are so many people, there's so many experts, community leaders, community members, business people who have expressed interest and determination in doing everything it takes to ensure that they start working on cleaning up the river streams that are affecting their particular areas. I know that this particular part of the Jukskei, we have received some comments from the community, from the local businesses, as well as the landowners, saying we want to help, we want to get involved, but we just don't know who to talk to. The landowner said in his interview earlier that he's been sent from political posts, and that's the problem. The municipality needs to have one voice, one person on the ground saying, this is what we're going to do. These are the systems and plans we're going to institute. These are the time frames that we're going to put in place, and not send concerned residents and concerned business people from pillar to post. And they need to ensure that in this election year, these people who are living here in these informal settlements, who are going to be voting, their voter bases are taken care of, and something as basic as being able to dispose of their sewage in a safe and effective manner, and being able to have things as basic as roads, as traffic lights, as running water from a tap, and not being forced to dispose of their waste in the local river because they simply have no other alternative. They have no choice. This is the only option that's available to them. It's really concerning, and it should be an issue that does concern the municipality. And while the Joburg Water is doing what they can in the short-term interim to clean up the river stream by flushing it out every now and again, and working on educating the community members, we need a long-term solution, and the municipality needs to be held responsible and be accountable for ensuring they put in long-term solution, working with the community members, with the business people, with experts, whether the experts are engineering experts, environmental experts, to work together as a collective and start benchmarking dates, times and effective plans to dealing with the pollution in the Jukskei River and the impact it's having on the residents and the businesses in the surrounding area. Blaine.
Look, it's an important story, and we appreciate you giving us a state of play on the ground there. Nozintombi Miya, SABC specialist reporter, agriculture and environmental affairs there.